Hello everybody, welcome to Life in France. Life in France versus life in the UK. I'm Mark, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget, hit the red button so you don't miss any future releases. Today I'm discussing banks. Banks in the UK compared to banks in France. Now, when I moved to France, when my life in France started back in 2006, I had to get a mortgage to buy the property that I bought in France. And I decided to go for a bank that provided an English-speaking service. And at the time, that was Barclays France. Because Barclays is very well known in the UK, and it just gave me comfort to be dealing with a corporation that I was already familiar with. And the fact that they had an English-speaking account manager and customer service just made me more relaxed as regards to doing my banking and day-to-day life. However, Barclays France switched over to a new provider, and they're now, I can never pronounce it, Milia Bank or something like that. And anyway, the customer service is atrocious. We had a situation last month where they changed their internet system, and that you needed to get a special code. And to do that, you went online, used your old code numbers, and they were supposed to do it automatically online, providing you with new codes. It didn't work. So I rang up the main branch in Paris, spoke to the English-speaking customer service, and they couldn't help me. They said your account manager has to provide you with the security codes, the new codes. So I said, okay, I'm around tomorrow. Can he ring between sort of midday and 5 o'clock in the evening? He rang at 11 o'clock the following morning while I was out. Naomi told him that I'm back at midday, and he never called back. The following week I called again, spoke to the customer service and said, look, your bank manager called at 11 o'clock AM. I told him I was going to be around from midday onwards. He hasn't called back. Can you get him to call me back, please? Because I need to access my bank account. Yes, we'll promise he'll be calling in the next 48 hours. The following week went by. I've started ringing now twice a week saying, look, the account manager isn't calling me. What's going on? Can you help me? No, sorry, your account manager needs to do it. This went on for 4 weeks, would you believe? The account manager would not ring me back. The customer service couldn't provide the details. I said, look, I have a security text whenever I purchase anything through your bank. Can you not just text me the code because it's a secure phone? No, sorry, we can't do that. After 4 weeks, I speak to someone and they say, if you want, we can text it to you. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I've been told for the last 4 weeks that you can't do that. Why all of a sudden? Oh no, we'll text it to you. So they text it to me. I've now got into the system, logged myself in. There's no real difference as regards to the security measures that was beforehand to what it is today. However, it's taken 4 weeks to get into my bank account. And now I find their system's not working. You cannot access the details of each account. So I can't see my expenditure on my credit card, and I can't see the day-to-day dealings with my current account. It's atrocious. You know, they've spent all this time and money, I guess, creating a new system that doesn't work, and customers couldn't get into it. But hey, that's a bank in France. Guys, one of the main differences I find with banks in France compared to banks in the UK is accessibility to your own money. To give you an example, if I had, say, 10,000 euros in my bank account in France, the maximum I'm allowed to withdraw is 300 euros a week. The maximum I'm allowed to use on my debit card is 1,500 euros a month. In the UK, you know, I can draw out £500 a day, and I can keep drawing out £500 a day until my balance of my account is emptied. I've gone and bought a car on my debit card in the UK for £10,000 because I had 10,000 at the time. I was allowed to buy it. There, one payment, done. You can't do that in France. I'm limited to 1,500 euros per month. And it really makes a headache if you're trying to pay your bills online with your debit card. Because if my electric bill, say, 600 euros, I can go and pay that, but then I've now only got 900 euros left on my card that I can spend for the rest of the month. which can really cause problems with your day-to-day shopping. No matter what level of income and money I have in my bank account, I'm still limited to that €1,500 per month, and it's ridiculous. Whereas in the UK, you can just carry on spending until your money runs out. And that's the main difference between banking in France and banking in the UK. The other thing with banking in France is overdrafts. I really struggled to get an overdraft with my French bank. And they actually gave me an overdraft for €500. And it has to be cleared within 30 days. And if I have the overdraft, even if it's just €5 over, I start getting letters after 20 days when you're going to clear your overdraft. Whereas in the UK, I had a £7,000 overdraft facility, and it was ongoing. I had it for about 10 years. It'd go back down to zero, and all of a sudden it'd go back to £7,000. Because running my own business, sometimes there's cash flow problems. And, you need to dip into an overdraft facility just to get you by. Because the winter months, for example, the revenue's really reduced. So I used to use my overdraft facility to get me by for 3 or 4 months. Whereas that can't happen in France because I'm limited to just €500, and it has to be cleared within 30 days. So that's another big difference between banking in France and banking in the UK. I mentioned my bank manager in France. I can never get hold of the guy now. And he's not so much English speaking as it was when it was Barclays France, but you can never get in touch with him. I don't know whether it was because the year before, when COVID started, I asked him what the situation was with my mortgage payments, whether you could have a mortgage holiday, because income had dried up, we weren't getting any bookings. So I said, can I have a 6-month holiday or 3-month holiday? And he was coming out with all American jargon. Now, I'm a financial advisor in the past, dealing with mortgages, and I couldn't understand what this bank manager was talking about because he was using American jargon for mortgages. He was saying real estate, and it was just confusing. And I actually said to him, I'm sorry, but you're supposed to be an English service, you're not speaking English, you're speaking American terminology. And if me, as a previous financial advisor, is getting confused, what on earth are you doing to the guys that don't understand finances? And basically I gave him a bit of a telling off. I think that's maybe one of the reasons he don't talk to me anymore. But unlike in the UK, I could speak to my bank manager every day if I wanted. I could ring him up, make an appointment, go and see him, or just speak to him over the phone. They were so accessible. But in France, it's as though they're hiding away. They don't want to talk to the clients. The customer service is atrocious in France. I'm looking to clear my mortgage at the end of this year, and I'm going to literally just shut my bank account down, and I'm going to open a new bank account. Guys, I guess another big difference with banks in France compared to banks in the UK is the ease of getting a mortgage. In France, it was extremely hard to get a mortgage. They only allowed 3 times salary, and as a self-employed person, they basically asked for 3 years accounts and based it on those 3 years. Whereas in the UK, it's a lot easier to borrow money. They also allow you to borrow more, up to 5 times joint salary. And also the turnaround time. There's no chain in France. Unlike in the UK, you could have a chain 6 houses long. But in France, it took my mortgage 6 or 7 months to complete. And it took probably 4 or 5 months to get a mortgage offer because of all the singing and dancing they expected me to do to jump through all their hoops. Whereas in the UK, as a mortgage advisor, we could get a yes from a bank within 24 hours after submitting the application. So that's a huge difference as regards to banks in France and banks in the UK. The ease of borrowing money and also the ease of getting a mortgage. And the process is just so much quicker. They're just so much more efficient in the UK at dealing with mortgages than they are in France. Sorry guys, but it's the truth. Guys, the other aspect of banking in France is that the French tend to use cheques more. And it's actually illegal to bounce a cheque in France. And you sometimes go to the supermarkets and you'll see a lot of French using chequebooks to pay for their groceries. Anything over €50, the cashier will ask for proof of ID. and they basically write a cheque. And that's how a lot of French use their bank accounts, by paying by cheque. Whereas in the UK, not a lot of people tend to use cheques now. They use their debit cards or cash still. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this short video of life in France, talking about the difference between banks in France and banks in the UK. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget, hit the red button so you don't miss any future releases. Look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.